Hey everybody, we're here live from E3 at the PlayStation booth in sunny, very sunny Los Angeles, California. Whew, it's a hot one out there. But we're bringing the heat in here too, because we're going to talk a little bit about the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Mac, as you go by, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we've got the talented Meredith Molinari.
Hello, Sid.
You're an Assassin's Creed fan.
I am. I have to admit, I took a little break from it for a little while, a couple games off, and I'm really excited about this one. It's very different.
It is very different.
Yeah.
We're changing the experience into a full RPG and taking you to Greece, and I hope you're going to like it.
Oh, I think I am.
Now, when we say full RPG, how would you define that?
Well, for us, RPG in the past has been a lot about player progression. Now we're trying to give you more role-play options. And the way we're doing that is by bringing especially dialogues into the game. Dialogues where you can steer the course of the story. You've got multiple endings. You can choose to play as either Alexios or Cassandra. We've got tons of customization options as well in the game. So it's really this final step into the transformation of the franchise into an RPG.
Awesome. I think we're going to look at some footage here in just a second, so we'll look for that. But yeah, I mean, what's the motivation of the lead character this time? The lead characters in the Assassin's Creed games have such an influence on the style of the storytelling, kind of what the journey itself is. So tell us a little bit about that.
So since we're going to Greece, you know, it has to be about a tragedy. It starts with a dark prophecy from the Delphi Oracle, actually, who they are trying, you'll find, to manipulate the Greek world. Then you are part, I don't want to spoil the story for anyone, but you are part of this prophecy and you get cast out of Sparta. So we meet with our characters 17 years later and they receive a mysterious contract. And that contract will set them on the path to reunite with their family. And that's their personal, the character's personal journey, personal odyssey throughout Greece. But there are, because of this new dialogue system that we have created, we've got many, many stories to tell. There's more than 30 hours of dialogues in the game. And we'll get the chance to see an example on screen.
Oh, so we're playing as Cassandra.
Yes, absolutely. And
Wonderful.
I love playing with Cassandra. I love the energy the actress puts into the role. And one of the things that is interesting to me is that, you know, I've played with Alexios, I play with Cassandra, but I respond very differently to the voice acting from the characters, and it makes me role play in a very different way. So I don't play Cassandra the same way as I play Alexios, even though they have the same stories, the same abilities, and the same strength.
Interesting.
How does, now my understanding is this is actually the most ancient civilization depicted in Assassin's Creed history.
Yes.
Some of those get pretty ancient. So this one though, how does this sort of antiquity of classic Greece, how does that sort of impact the story, the mechanics? How does that infuse itself into the experience?
Well, for us, it's the birth of Western civilization in a way. So you'll get the chance to meet incredible characters like Socrates,
Awesome.
For example. You'll not only be able to discuss philosophy, but we've implemented systems in the game that allow us to monitor what the player is doing. And depending on what you do, obviously, Socrates will question you. So he was very strong on questions. And he'll question you about the choices that you've made, the actions that you have taken, and try to make you, as a player, reflect on the choices that you have made. Have you made the right choices or the wrong choices? But we know that there is no right or wrong choices. So all those discussions with Socrates are, for me, a highlight of the game.
That's fascinating, actually. Socrates is in the game because he is such a mysterious figure in actual history. So how much homework did you do to sort of capture who he really is? Because all we really know is reports from his students, including Plato and his student Aristotle.
Absolutely. So those are our main sources, but we tried to make our own take on who Socrates was. So he was a very fun guy. We tried to made him as a very fun guy to be around, always joking, always not taking himself too seriously, but always trying to challenge you about who you are. And we feel that this is the essence of at least what was reported down to us over the years.
Now, Origins was a huge open world. Is this on the same scale as that, or are we going even bigger with this one?
Oh, we're going bigger.
We're going bigger.
About twice as big.
Are you serious?
It is absolutely a huge game. Of course, all of that. No,
When are you guys going to stop? I mean,
Right.
these things are getting so huge. I mean,
but you know what's important is not just the size of the world, but it's actually what you do in that world. And you've got open world naval that is back, a bit like in Black Flag, which we know that our fans loved. But now you can jump on your ship, and it's completely seamless this time around. There is absolutely no loading, whether you enter or exit a city. You can go on your boat.
Awesome.
We've got boarding that is back as well. We can, one of the cool things that you can do is that you can cleave a ship in half. If you've got enough speed, you'll just ram into it and the ship will break in two. People will fall off. You'll see sharks come in and eat them. So, and the other cool thing that you can do on a boat that you absolutely have to try out is you can Sparta kick people off boats. So that is an iconic move, and then you can just see the shark come in for the final kill to help you.
is Sparta sort of an influence in the game?
It is. It is. Our hero is of Spartan origins.
Ah, cool.
And he or she dresses like a Spartan, at least at the, as you can see in this kind of iconic
Awesome.
outfit that feels very Spartan.
As a
But
PlayStation fan, yeah, it looks a little bit familiar to me. I'm not sure why.
I don't know why. I don't know why. But it'll get, you'll see. We've got a nice surprise for our PlayStation fans right at the end of this this walkthrough.
Okay, can't wait. So tell me a little bit more about what this means here for the larger mythos. Assassin's Creed has this incredible mythos. This is the earliest one yet. What do we learn about sort of the order?
Well, you'll learn a lot more. This is set 400 years before the birth of the Brotherhood. So, and for me, the Assassin's Creed brand, I've been working on it for the last 10 years, is so much more than just being an assassin. It is about visiting a pivotal moment in history.
Yeah.
And there is so much lore we can tell about that. We've got a lot of first civilization artifacts in the game, and we'll be able to kind of explore this origin of the war between order and chaos. And that's going to be a central theme in the game.
Now, will it connect to some of the other Assassin's Creed worlds or some of the other Assassin's Creed characters?
Absolutely, and especially through the present day, because we're continuing the story of Layla Hassan, who was introduced in Origins. And we very much listened to our fans who wanted a playable character back into the franchise. And now, if they so choose, they're going to get more present-day content than they've had in the past. Again, thanks to this dialogue system that we've implemented, and it allows us to do much more storytelling than before.
Okay, tell us about what we're seeing here.
So what you're seeing is what we call a conquest battle. So it's a huge technological endeavor that we embarked on 3 years ago to be able to have those large-scale battles that feature 150 versus 150 people. So you get to be the hero of the battlefield. What you see now on screen is the player using some abilities that are powered through the spear of Leonidas. So Leonidas of Sparta was your grandfather, passed down his spear onto you, and it's a first Civ artifact that you get right from the start of the game. And it allows you to have cool powers. And now the player is going to fight Diocles. So, and it's very, very physical in terms of combat. You can see he has blunt weapons, and he's a very tough enemy for the player to fight. And you're going to see Cassandra switch weapons very soon after Diocles taunts her like this. And this is definitely one of my favorite weapons when you're going to see her switch to it. Feels like a huge baseball bat. And you've got...
Is this an authentic weapon that was used in this time period?
I cannot tell, but I can tell you it's a very fun weapon to use.
That's all we need to know.
And you can bat enemies
Damn.
off. It's absolutely amazing. And you'll see in this kind of montage here that the game has so many things to offer. If you look closely, and I encourage our fans to look at
There's
it.
the sharks.
Wow, that looks
You see
great.
the sharks. You'll see a hint of present day and something very, very cool at the end
Okay.
for PlayStation fans.
I am staring at this real hard.
Look for the clues.
Look for the clues. Look for it. It's coming. It's coming. And, oh, what is it? What do you think you're going to see?
Well, that was a minotaur.
Minotaur.
Yeah.
So we can touch on
Awesome.
that in the game. As well.
Interesting,
So
yeah.
you'll see us explain Greek mythology in a very, very Assassin's Creed way.
I can't wait to learn more about that. That looks tremendous. So tell me a little bit about how like weapons in general? Like, what's the historical emphasis when it comes to things like combat equipment and weapons?
So we're giving the choice to players to have a weapon that suits their play style. If they want to play faster and dodge a bit more around, so they'll be using knives. And you can have the heavy blunts as well, all the way down to the heavy blunts, which is the weapon that I like to play with. Because I'm telling you, when you make contact with an enemy, it is so satisfying. But then one of the great improvements to combat is special abilities. So these are fully mappable abilities that you can invest on, and you've got the Sparta kick that you can do. That's more kind of a warrior ability. You've got an ability that allows you to do crowd control. You just slam your spear into the ground, and enemies are pushed back. So we're really leaning into this kind of first civ aspect to our character, who's able, through his blood or her blood, to use those first civ artifact and become heroes of legend. One of the other things about combat, I don't know if you've noticed, we've removed the shield from the player because we wanted to go away from turtling around enemies and make the combat much more aggressive, much more offensive. So you're always kind of dodging around and attacking enemies and moving around a lot.
It's a good fit for a Spartan as well,
Absolutely.
may I say. Exactly. Well, hey, thank you so much, Mac, for dropping by, showing off the latest from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That's coming out when?
On October 5th on all the consoles you can imagine.
All right. Well,
thank you very much for having me.
Looks fantastic.
Thank you.
And we've got a ton more coming up all day long. We're just getting started. Stay with us.
PlayStation